Okay, so Pat, thank you very much for coming into AskFans TV.
Absolute pleasure.
Let's talk about Chelsea first and foremost. I read an article recently that you said that Costa and Drinkwater were musts to buy for Chelsea. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Well, I had a look. Some of the time when you look at a squad, everyone thinks, and a kind of what's our first 11. It's kind of not that way. It's much more complicated than that. Usually it's in groups of players that you need that can fit in. And if you're light in one area, then you're stuffed. Because that's the area where we get problems. You'll either get suspensions or injuries.
Yeah.
And I really felt that players like Azpilicueta, look, he can cover you at centre-back, right centre-back, at right attacking wing-back. He could maybe even do a job sitting midfield. David Luiz, the same. He can play centre-back anywhere. He can step into midfield. So these are like two players. But they were still slightly short in a couple of areas. And it was right attacking wing-back area where they needed something else from Moses. And they've got that with Costa. And obviously in the centre midfield area, there's new players there. And it may well be that Bakayoko struggles a little bit now and again because he's getting used to the game. So you needed someone like Drinkwater who you thought, well, he'll go and do a job. And apparently Drinkwater and Conte did quite well once together. So I hear anyway.
Yeah, so I think they won a Premier League, mate. I think you might be right there.
Exactly so.
Yeah, but do you think
it was a good decision.
Do you think Drinkwater's going to start, though? Because I think that's quite a brave move. Obviously, it's a massive move for him to go from Leicester to Chelsea. But to get into that starting 11 might prove a bit tricky for him.
Do I think he'll start? No. Not a chance.
No.
If you look at the standard, I mean, he will start some games, that's the point. But he's not going to be the first choice. Bakayoko alongside Conte is their first choice in away games. In home games, the temptation is to go with Fabregas back there alongside Conte because you probably only need one guy back there. But if it's an away game, that's the home games. In away games, you need tougher players, and Drinkwater make a few more games there. So it's interesting with Costa, but the one thing to keep in mind, and everyone forgets this, he will not stick with 3-4-3.
Right.
Everyone talks about Conte the way he does it, and he's just a 3-4-3 man. Now, I know the people that listen to this are absolutely football fans and know what they're talking about and have done a little bit of studying of football. He wasn't a 3-4-3 man when he was at Juve, or even all the time with the Italian national squad. Right. He played the players that suited the system for a period of time. Now, he did it at Chelsea for last season and hardly ever changed it. It's because it worked all the time. Why change it? Yeah. When it needs changing, he'll change it.
Yeah, but that's an interesting situation. So when they go away from home, especially Champions League, because Champions League's coming up now, starting, I mean, the big game against Qarabag, whoever you pronounce him. Do you think he'll change his tactics in the Champions League, though?
Again, home and away. There's no need to really adapt the actual tactics until it starts to fail. Yeah. I think at heart, when you look at him closely, he wants to play two up front. That's what he really wants to play. Now, there's lots of different ways. You can 3-5-2s. When he was at Juve, he had Pirlo playing there, so I adapted it completely to just have Pirlo sitting in and spraying it. And he could get Fabregas doing that sort of thing. So he's got all these different options. And I'm kind of happy about that because I almost take it back to day one as in Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger changes everything when he comes in. People were playing these same boring systems all the time. And then there was an adaptation and a different look at things. And I really liked that. But in the last couple of years there, I thought it got a bit stale. Everyone starts doing 4-2-3-1, and you're thinking, yeah, we get that. Could you try thinking out the box a bit? And no one did for quite a period of time. Because it worked so well with Barca, no one did for quite a period of time. But this has come in, the 3-4-3 that he's tried, and now everyone, you look at Man City, they're playing a different way. You look at Man United, well, they'll be back to the 4-2-3-1, but a different way from Man City and a different way from Chelsea. And isn't it great now that finally we've got, not watching homogenous sides playing against each other all the time.
So what do you make of Diego Costa's behaviour the last couple of months?
Diego Costa's an extraordinarily unusual guy. Again, from the outside, he looks like, well, apart from looking like Desperate Dan, he actually looks like one of these guys who's intense and deep and all the rest of it. He's just a big daft boy. Him and Luis together are hilarious. They are absolutely hilarious. And he's just got uptight about his situation. He shouldn't have behaved the way he did. In simple terms, okay, he's been told that he has to go, but you're under contract, mate. And I don't know about the rest is in the rest of the world. Yeah. Do you know if I'm paid a wage, and I know my boss doesn't like me, but you're paying me every week, I'll still come in. And do you know what? For my pride, I will still give the best that I've got. Now, there's plenty of managers, quite a few managers I played under in my career. I know they weren't madly impressed with me, thought I was a dangerous intellectual because I once read a book. Actually, I wrote one. So, but it didn't matter. You have to go in and do your best because you're not working for him. You're working for yourself. You're working for the fans who are paying the money. And that side of it, I don't allow footballers away with that. I was always an outsider within football. And you come into it and they've forgotten it's a job. It's more than a job, it's lots of other things, but it's a job as well. You should give the best of what you've got during it. Now, if you're a bit miffed about something, tough bananas. You're getting you're getting extremely well paid now. So, Diego, come back, Diego. It's always forgiven, and if you go and put the effort into it, you know what? You'll get a great move in January, and Chelsea will have a great time between now and then, and so will he. It's simple.
Matic, just gone to Manchester United from Chelsea. Were you surprised that Chelsea sold a player of his stature to a contender for the rival of Championship?
The contender of the Championship's the interesting thing. Selling Matic and getting Bakayoko in, it's very like for like. Yeah. It's really like for like. Remember, Matic didn't play absolutely every game. It's not to diss him in any way at all. He'd been a great player for Chelsea and he'd done a fantastic job. But Bakayoko is very similar, and he's a lot younger. And maybe that's the difference. How long is Matic going to keep on doing it for? To that level? I don't know. 2 or 3 years maybe. In the hurly-burly that is Premier League and Champions League. Bakayoko, he could be there. If he is as good, and certainly so far he's shown he's got the power. I don't know about the ultimate ability, but the power. Then you've actually got the same guy for the same money, or probably less. You've made a profit, and you've got 4 more years, and they'll have a resale value. That's called business. Yeah. And Chelsea are quite good at it. You might have noticed. Have a look at what they do with their youth development. There was a long time, it's really quite funny listening to people saying, oh, it's terrible, all those young players coming through, and they never give them a chance. And then you're thinking, you're not quite getting this here, are you? It's a phenomenal business. And it doesn't matter if they play for Chelsea, or if they play for Watford, or if they play for Bournemouth, or they play for... It doesn't matter. If they're developing good players that can play Premier League football, so what? They're making a profit out of it. Well done then. And the thing I always say to Chelsea fans, any Chelsea fans listening, who get a bit miffed because they want these young players to come through. It's a series of jumps. Under 21s or whatever, youth, to the first team. That's not one jump. Yeah. That's about 18 different jumps.
It's huge.
As you know, it's massive. And it means a jump that's lower league, it's sometimes abroad. And then if you're really, really good, you might get a game for another Premier League team. But if you're going to get any Chelsea or Man City or Man United's first team, there's still about 6 more jumps to go yet. You're miles away from it still.
Well, Pat, thank you very much for coming in.
Absolute pleasure.
Pleasure to talk to you. And hopefully we'll see you again.
Anytime.
Thanks.
Right, I've got your questions here from the hashtags, and good questions there too. First one. Now, this is painful and totally and utterly unfair. Jose Mourinho or Antonio Conte? Right, okay. If the question had been, who do you like most, or who do I prefer between the two of them, it would have been even more difficult. In this way, I'll kind of answer it. Jose Mourinho has to be seen as the top man still, because of what he has done as a manager in his career so far. So he is still, in some ways, the godfather of management. If I had to work with one or the other, having met both and having actually interviewed both and spent a good deal of time with both, and actually found them both very, very personable and kind of surprising, really surprising. I mean, the first thing that came across about Jose when I last talked to him and spent a good deal of time with him, he's actually quite shy. It's one of the most stunning things about him. It's quite a disarming thing that he's got off the camera when he's not, producing this Jose Mourinho image that we all know. But in actual fact, his technical depth and knowledge is fantastic. However, I have been totally and utterly bowled over by Antonio Conte. And his time at Chelsea, he did a few things. Like his tactical analysis is good. His tactical awareness is fabulous. He, again, is very, very easy to talk to. He's wound me up mercilessly about my accent, which is, considering he's got quite a strong accent as well, I thought it was a bit rich. But in actual fact, the thing that impressed me more than anything else is he got Stamford Bridge rolling and rocking last season. Now, in actual fact, like a lot of other stadiums around the country, it wasn't as lively as it should have been. I mean, I go to the Etihad sometimes, the Emirates sometimes, even Old Trafford, and everyone thinks it's bouncing and mad all the time. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's really quiet. And there was a real problem in sections at Stamford Bridge before Antonio. After Antonio, and when he got those fans going, it's been astounding down there. He's added an extra dimension to the club. So I don't think I've easily answered that question. I do admire hugely both of them. I'll answer it in the chief executive way. If I had to work with either of them, I'd probably want to work with Antonio. I think he's a bit easier to work with. And that's just a selfish answer. Were Real Madrid wrong to sell Alvaro Morata? Well, quite simply, if you're a Chelsea fan, no, they weren't. They were absolutely right. We needed him, and he's been absolutely great. And I thought he would be great. He probably wasn't going to get the opportunities that he needed and he deserved. He was getting to an age where he needed first-team football all the time at a top level. He obviously wants to make his mark in the international scene a lot more, so he had to be playing with the top club. So for Morata, yes, it was the right thing to go and to go to a club like Chelsea. For Chelsea, it's obviously great. For Real Madrid, well, you know what? They actually got a lot of money for him. Do you know if they like him that much? They'll just buy him back again, and he'd probably go back. So short term, I think it probably was the right thing for Real Madrid. But you know what? I won't be surprised in the long term they buy him back, and it will cost them money. But in the end, he'll be a better player. But I think he was, I mean, I've said to a lot of people, ask me, Diego Costa at Chelsea, you know, obviously Lukaku could have went there and Morata. From day one, before any of this was decided, my decision would have been Morata. Someone who likes Chelsea and the way Chelsea played. Because of his understanding, particularly with all the other Spaniards around there, such as Fabregas, you know, and even Alonso, even as we've seen earlier this season, Azpilicueta created 2 goals for him as well. So absolutely a good one for Chelsea, that one. I think we've run out of questions now. Either that or the screen has just gone blank.